What's up and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to be answering the most common questions that are asked by beginner football freestylers. Every day I get questions such as which ball should I use, which trainer should I use, how do I avoid injuries, how do I meet freestylers, which trick should I learn. We're going to answer all of these in one big and convenient video. So if you like the sound of that, make sure you hit the like button because it will really help this video and it promotes the channel a lot. Also make sure you head over to lancefreestyle.com and sign up for my newsletter. I'll send you a free essential guide for beginners and I'll also email you every single tutorial that I post. Alright, with that being said, let's get into these questions. Which tricks should I learn first? The first thing I would say to any freestyler who's just starting out is to make sure you get your juggling up to speed. You really want to focus on your control, and I always recommend that you master 100 kick-ups before you start to learn any tricks. So make sure you practice your kick-ups every day. You should be able to improve pretty quickly with it. I have a tutorial on my channel if you need some tips. So yeah, make sure you do that first. And then once you're consistent with 100 kick-ups, you can do it most of the time, then you can start to move on to some tricks. Once you have a good control of the football, it's pretty much up to you which tricks you learn first. So I decided to pick out some recommended ones in each style so you can choose and you can practice from there. So let's take a look at that.
Alright guys, so as you can see I made a small little graphic here just really quickly to show which tricks I recommend that you learn. It's split up into lowers, sit downs, uppers, blocking / other tricks. So you can screenshot this and take it with you and go search for tutorials and all of these tricks and definitely give them all a try. That's what I would say. Once you've got your juggling up to speed, just give them all a try and see which ones you enjoy and go for the easiest options first, okay? So the ones that you find easiest, go for it, nail it, build up your confidence and then move on and try and get as many of these as you can and you'll progress a lot quicker, but with the correct foundation tricks.
What is the best football for freestyle? So if you're a beginner, this really doesn't matter. You can use any size 5 football, which is made by a reputable brand such as Nike, Adidas, Puma. Head into any shop, take a feel of each ball and pick your favorite one, which design you like. And don't spend more than, I would say, like 20 euros on this ball. And for the next 6 months, you want to use this ball every day to build up your technique, learn the beginner tricks, and build up your foundation skills. Then after that, if you've decided that you want to become a freestyler and you're still enjoying it like you did from your first day, then you can invest a bit more money into a match ball. Now, typically the most popular ones are Adidas match balls, and you can't really go wrong with any of them. But I would say that the most popular ones would be the Champions League footballs. So this football is going to cost you probably around 100 euros, which is a big investment, and that's why I say you shouldn't buy one until you've done at least 6 months of freestyle. After 6 months, your standard football, which you bought in the beginning, it's probably going to be worn down and it's going to be pretty useless if you've been using it every day. But with the match ball, you really do get the quality that you pay for. So this ball should last you for years and years and years, so long as you're looking after it. Make sure that you clean it regularly and you don't just leave it outside in the rain during storms and things like that. Make sure you just look after it and it will last you for a very long time. Also, the quality on these balls is a little bit better. You're gonna notice a better touch and you're gonna enjoy freestyle a little bit more, but that is only once you've learned some tricks. When you're a beginner, it really doesn't matter. You can use any ball, and that's why I say always pick the cheapest option from a good brand, because there's always gonna be a chance that you're gonna freestyle for 4 weeks, you're gonna find it too hard, or you're just gonna not enjoy it as much as you thought you would, and then you can just give the ball away. Whereas if you put all this money into a match ball, you're going to feel guilty about beginning freestyle and it's going to be a tough situation for you. There are also footballs which are designed specifically for freestyle, and a popular brand is the name For Freestyle. So I recommend you head over, check out their website and check out the footballs that they make. They're pretty similar to match balls, but they're slightly different in terms of like the design and the grip and the texture and things like that. So in summary, when you start off, make sure you pick a cheap but reliable football and use it as much as possible. Then after a certain period of time, such as 6 months, you can think about upgrading to something that has higher quality. What are the best shoes for football freestyle? So with shoes, my answer is slightly different. I would say if you're already into football, you'll most likely have a pair of indoor football shoes or AstroTurfs or something like that. And I'd recommend to go ahead and just use those for the time being. But if you do have a little bit of money to spend, the most popular shoes are the Puma Archive Lights, because just in general, the design and the quality of the shoe is just great for freestyle. You can get a really nice touch with it. However, these aren't being produced anymore and they are hard to find. So I'd recommend the For Freestyle shoes. Again, great company, couldn't recommend them enough, and these shoes are becoming very popular. But just in general, when you're a beginner, any type of football shoe will be fine. Just make sure that it's not too heavy and make sure you feel comfortable in them. Should you train all styles? sit downs, lowers, uppers, etc. in one session. So with this question, it entirely depends on what your goals are. If you want to be a lower freestyler, then just practice lowers. You don't have to practice other styles as well. But if you want to be more of an all-round freestyler, I would recommend to just focus on 2 styles per session in the beginning so that you can notice great improvements. So for example, you could do lowers for like 30 minutes and then you can practice some sit downs for 15 minutes. And after that, you have a 45-minute session. And then the next day you can do the same thing, maybe change it around, do 30 minutes of sit downs and then 15 minutes of lowers. That's pretty much how I did it as a beginner. I only focused on the styles that I wanted to learn and get better at. And then after a certain amount of time, when I had a good level at those styles, I would start practicing some different styles as well. So that's what I would say. Just focus on what you want to get good at, and then over a certain period of time, start introducing other styles as well. Because if you try and learn everything at once, you're really going to have slow improvements and it's going to knock your confidence and you're probably going to lose motivation. How should you plan out your freestyle sessions? So this is a really good and important question. I would say before you go out and have your freestyle session, sit down and think about the things that you want to achieve. So if you want to improve your around the world record and your record is 8, think to yourself, today I'm going to do 10 around the world. And then think of a couple of other things as well. So you have your main objective, then you have the other things that you want to practice. Maybe you want to improve your sit downs or whatever it is. So you have 3 or 4 things in mind. Then grab your ball, go out and get cracking with that first and main objective. And hopefully you'll have a good session and you'll be able to achieve it. But in some cases, you'll go out and you just won't be able to do it like you imagined. And that's why it's always good to have backup goals as well, because then you can switch. So after like 20 or 25 minutes, you feel like you're not making any progress, then you switch to something else and you might find that you improve much faster in that way. And then in the next day, in your next training session, go back to that first goal and try it again. The main thing when you're a beginner is to just enjoy freestyle for what it is and have fun. So don't put too much pressure on yourself to stick to a strict training session. Just enjoy it as much as possible and think of what you want to improve at and just get to work on those things. Also, another tip, I always find it a good idea to practice the same things at the end of your session, things that you're not so good at or something that you want to improve in. So for example, in my case, I would most likely at the end of the session when I'm tired, focus on getting my fitness up and just practice my long combos and just really exhaust myself. How do you find and meet freestylers to practice with? The easiest option here is to try and get your friends into freestyle, show them some videos and show them how much fun you're having, and they might come along to your training sessions and start practicing with you. But if they're not into it, then don't worry, you can try and find some freestylers in your area or even in your country. The easiest way to do this is, first of all, search to see if there's a national championship in your country, and if there's an event, make sure you try your best to go to that and meet freestylers there, because that's where they'll all come together in one place. Another thing you can do is go onto YouTube and search for your town or country along with the words freestyle meet. If a video pops up, you'll be able to find out who the freestylers are, where they're freestyling, and hopefully you'll be able to find their Instagram or Facebook page. Another good tip is to search for group pages. So a lot of countries have Facebook or Instagram pages where they post clips from all the freestylers in that country. So search for your country and try and find the page and introduce yourself there. Basically, the whole point is that you have to try and search for freestylers that are close to you on the internet using hashtags and just Google searches, YouTube searches, things like that. And once you find freestylers, make sure you introduce yourself, be polite, and say that you're getting into freestyle. Do you know of any other freestylers? And they should give you a list, and then you follow them and you comment on their videos and just eventually slowly integrate yourself into that community. Always be friendly and respectful when you ask questions, and they should be responsive to you and help you out. What should you do when you get frustrated or you hit a plateau in your freestyle? The best thing you can do here is just take a chill pill, relax, don't worry about it, because it happens to everyone. It's a natural process and feeling. If you're having a bad training session, or even you're having a whole week full of bad training sessions, just take a break, put the ball down and go do something else. Or you can try a different type of freestyle. Maybe you want to start practicing uppers and you've never done it before. Just try a week of uppers and you might find that you enjoy that more, and then come back to what you were stuck at previously. Basically, it's not the end of the world. Becoming a good freestyler takes time, and there's going to be a lot of frustrations and plateaus. You just have to relax, accept it for what it is, and keep trying. How to train your weak foot. So when you're a complete beginner, don't worry about practicing on your weak foot. But I would say once you've learned about 10 tricks, then you build up a library of tricks and you're starting to understand how to learn tricks better. Then you can start focusing on your weak foot. And at that point, it's going to be super helpful for you. So if you've learned the around the world and you can do, let's say, 3 in a row, you should feel confident to be able to learn it onto your weak foot. And in most cases, you can actually learn tricks faster on your weak foot because you already understand the technique, you already know the process of learning the trick. And even though your weaker foot is your weaker foot, you're going to be able to learn it quicker and it's going to surprise you. So don't be afraid to try your weak foot. In the past, I found having just training sessions where I only use my weak foot very helpful, and I improve a lot faster that way, because that way you can really focus on it and really try and bring it up to the same level as your strong foot. So I'd say if you're having 5 training sessions a week, maybe on the last training session of the week or the first training session of the week, whichever you prefer, try and have a session where you only use your weak foot and see how it goes. It's going to feel very unfamiliar at first, but I promise that your weak foot level will improve a lot. Does age matter? And can you start freestyle at any age? The answer to this is no, age does not matter. You can start freestyle whenever you want. I've seen freestylers start at 5 years old. I've seen freestylers start at 15. I've seen freestylers start at 25, 35, even in their 40s. It really doesn't matter. So long as you just start and you start practicing tricks, you'll be able to improve and become a freestyler. Now, of course, it goes without saying, if you start when you're 10 years old, you're going to have a greater opportunity of becoming a professional freestyler or a world champion or a national champion or something like that. But if you want to freestyle, don't worry about your age, just start. How do you stay motivated? The best way to stay motivated is by watching videos such as the videos on my channel. Make sure you're following freestylers on Instagram, and also talking to other freestylers, going to meets and competitions if you're able to. Because once you get around freestylers, once you're watching videos and you're in the community, it's going to become really easy to stay motivated. How much air should you have in your football? This is entirely personal preference, and you should experiment with different levels of air in your football. For me personally, I like to pump my football all the way up high, and then I put the needle in and I take out a little bit of air, so I have a little bit of give on the ball. So it's hard, but there's a little bit of softness to it as well. But like I say, it's complete personal preference. I've freestyled with people that have balls which are virtually flat, and I've also freestyled with people who have balls which are rock solid to the point where it almost hurts your feet when you kick it. So it's entirely up to you. It really doesn't matter. Just experiment with different types and find what works best for you. Do records in basic tricks matter? Absolutely. If you can build up your basic records such as around the worlds, hop the worlds, crossovers, side head stalls, neck stalls, whatever the trick is, if you can build up your records, it's going to mean that you're consistent and you're good at the trick. And that's going to leak out and flow into other aspects of your freestyle as well. So if you're a beginner, I would definitely recommend to write down all of your records just so you have a good idea of what level you're at. And on a regular basis, go out and try and break those records. You can even have a session where that's all you try and do. You just try and break all of your records. Consistency is a very important part of freestyle, and if you're consistent, you're going to get frustrated less, and having high records is going to help you with that. So that is definitely a good tip and something that I recommend that you keep track of. How to warm up properly. I would recommend in the first 15 minutes of your session to just ease into it. You can even just do juggles. Make sure that you're stretching properly. There are a ton of videos on YouTube teaching you how to stretch and warm up for any type of exercise that you're doing. Just listen to your body, don't jump into things, make sure you're nice and warmed up, make sure your heart rate is elevated a little bit. You can do this by just practicing basic tricks. You can even do a little jog. In the end, it's all about being loose and comfortable with your body and having a little bit of patience, and then you can move into the harder stuff and really focus on your training. How to avoid injuries. Unfortunately, injuries are a big part of freestyle, and you're going to experience this a lot. You're going to experience pain in your back, in your knees, in your groins. It's different for every type of freestyler depending on what you're doing and just how your body is. And the best way to avoid it is by warming up properly, make sure you're stretching, and make sure you're just living a healthy lifestyle in general. So make sure you're drinking a lot of water, make sure that you're eating healthy foods on a regular basis. And also a top tip would be to foam roll on a regular basis, because this is going to keep you nice and fresh. If you do get injured, make sure you go and see a doctor immediately, because of course they're going to be able to give you the best advice and they'll be able to diagnose you properly. Which exercises are best for freestyle? So this question gets asked a lot. A lot of freestylers feel like they don't have enough power in their legs to be able to do tricks. And the best advice here I can give you is to just freestyle. Eventually this will come with time. But if you want to build up your strength and you want to get in shape, I would recommend to just do some simple exercises such as squats, lunges, push-ups, pull-ups. Go for jogs on a regular basis so you have a good cardiovascular level. And that's all you need to do. Just keep it very simple, but above everything, make sure that you're freestyling on a regular basis, because your muscles and your body is going to get used to freestyle that way. Should you enter freestyle competitions? Absolutely. If you want to enter freestyle competitions, you should go for it. It's a fun experience and it's also something to train for. So you might find that you're improving faster, and it's also going to build up your confidence. Once you've entered a freestyle competition, you're going to feel a lot better about yourself. These days, we do have competitions for beginners and intermediates as well. So I definitely recommend you check that out. At the same time, not everyone enjoys competing because there are restrictions. You have to do 30-second sets. You probably need to practice all round. So if it's not your type of thing, don't worry about it. You don't have to enter. Just continue in your own way and enjoy freestyle exactly how you want. So that's it for the ultimate beginner Q&A. I think I covered everything. Shout out to everyone who's asked me these questions. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button and also share it with a beginner freestyler if you know one, because it should be able to help them out a lot. Also subscribe to the channel for plenty more tutorials that are coming. Don't forget to head over to learntofreestyle.com, pick up that beginner guide and join the newsletter so you never miss a tutorial. And until the next time, I will see you all very soon. Peace.